I think this is some villa in Italy where we are today. We are in a villa in Italy. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, very nice villa sitting somewhere.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay. Traveling.
Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. विधिः प्रयत्नस्य च कोऽपि वादः तयोर्द्वयोर्मूलमजानतां स्यात् विधेः प्रयत्नस्य च मूलवस्तु सञ्जानतां नैव विधिर्न यत्नः. Very wonderful verse, involved verse, based on the choicest choicest of the visions in the Upanishad, the choicest way of presenting the vision in the Upanishad. This is reminiscent of the Mandukya Karika, uh, composed by the Swami Gaudapadacharya, the grand guru of Adi Shankara, where he basically says that there is no such thing called creation. What are you worried about? There is no such thing called creation because everything that you think is a thing in the creation, whatever you think is a thing in the creation, what is there? It is all just interdependent. One thing dependent on another thing, yet one more thing dependent on another thing. The whole thing is like that. Like you take, for example, what is our topic at hand? Fate and free will. Free will and fate. And then, without free will, can you have fate? No. Yesterday's free will, I told you. Yesterday's free will becomes today's fate, karma phala, in the form of karma phala. And yesterday was your free will, which is not really free. So without free will, we cannot have fate. Part one. And then we cannot have, what's its name? We cannot have fate. We cannot have free will. Also, because as we saw yesterday, the free will is not really that free, is it? How free are you? How free is the free will? When every action is got a compulsiveness and it is based on a certain kind of a compulsion. And what is the compulsion? To get something or to get rid of something. That is the compulsion. The whole idea is like that. So this is the famous fate and free will. They are all interdependent on one another. And whenever something is interdependent on one another, it is mithya. It is not independent. And so this is the problem with this dialogue. What dialogue? Fate, free will dialogue. This is the problem. The problem is just that you cannot you cannot trace the origin of one without involving it in the other, and you cannot look at one without being affected by the other. The one depends on the other. That is how it is. So using your free will, you look at the almanac and fix a time for the wedding. you know, fix an auspicious time for anything. Wedding, inauguration of something, or whatever. Nothing wrong, but here is what I'm saying. So, is the will really free when you are looking for what go? Some kind of a auspicious thing, and then there is some way in which you get into that and start looking for this, what is it called? Muhurta. Muhurta means auspicious time. And some people take it to an extreme. And we see it like that in India. People take it to an extreme, maybe elsewhere also, but we see it in India. To go to the bathroom, you see the muhurat, and then go to the bathroom. What is the idea in this? This is meaningless. But this is how it can get into a kind of a obsessive way of looking for something auspicious. That looking for something auspicious, this whole penchant for doing that is based on the assumption that the one who is looking, namely the person, the is no is far away from auspiciousness. I cannot be auspicious. So therefore, I have to look for something that is auspicious. Then that insecurity that I am not the source of auspiciousness, that will only then go away. So therefore, when one gets into this kind of a difficulty, this kind of a, what should I say, this rotational fate, free will, fate, then it is very clear that one is inside a, what is it called? A hamster's wheel. Keeps on going round and round and round. This is what goes round is samsara. This is what it is. So, how to get out of this? Bhagavad Gita says a very nice thing, which I really like this part of the verse. It says, Yasya sarve samarambhaha kama sankalpa varjitaha. And so this is a very nice expression. Yasya, for whom sarve samarambhaha, all beginnings are without kama or without agenda. When you when you do something without some kind of a karma there, a karma means a strong desire for the outcome. That is what karma is. So, when you do something without a strong desire for the outcome, then you're not bothered about how it will go. You're not so bothered. You're not so hung up. You're not so caught up about how it will go. You are happy however it goes, and you know that this is the you are doing your best and you're letting it be. Tam ahuhu panditam budhaha. Such a person by the knowers of Brahman who don't really get caught up in this fate free will business are known as Panditaha. They are the real Pandits. So, this is one piece from the Bhagavad Gita that is very, very beautiful to assimilate the meaning of in order to shed light on this verse. And what else? There is one more, which is also very nice. In the 12th chapter, it is said, Shubha Shubha Parityagi. Parityagi, the one who lets go. All round the one who lets go. Paritaha, completely lets go. And what is it that one lets go? Shubha and Ashubha. This dyad, the dyad of auspicious and inauspicious. That is what, one has to let go. But as I said yesterday, the letting go comes after being in the life of rules and discipline. That is, after that only the letting go comes. The letting go cannot come before that. Otherwise, there will be some kind of a, one will go wild. So, The letting go comes after leading a life of discipline. And the life of discipline is not easy to lead because there are rules for everything. On Amavasya day, new moon day, you don't cut hair, you don't cut nails. Don't ask why, because this is how it is. All right. And then again on full moon day, you don't do certain things. And then on Fridays, again, you don't cut hair or nails. And then one more day, I also forget now. And then there are all these things. And on certain days, you don't do these things. You never start a new medication on Tuesdays. All right, because it will end in it'll not go very well. You'll get a stomach ache. It will not agree with you. Some beliefs are there like this. And then what else do you not do? So you don't do that on Tuesdays. And then on Saturday also, you don't do a lot of things on Saturdays. So Saturday in Sanskritam is called Sthiravara. Sthira means, the Sthira doesn't mean stable, but it is ruled by Shani, Saturn, and Saturn is very slow. And so you start something on Saturday, then like let's say you start a new medication on Saturday, lifelong you'll have to be taking it because it is Sthira. And you'll never finish the course of medicine. So like this, there are all these things. First, as a child, you learn to respect. You grow up in a culture which has all these rules. Don't do this on this day and don't do that on this day. Oh no, you went and cut your hair on that day. And why? How could you do this on this day? And didn't you realize today is Tuesday? And Tuesday means, it is called Mangala. Mangala means auspicious, but actually it is very inauspicious. I've never understood that. So, so this is how all these rules. And then once you master the rules, then there is no more rules. Ko vidhi, ko nishedha. Now, if you have every right to protest at this point, why should I master the rules? Why should I figure out auspicious, inauspicious, Tuesday, Saturday, all these things? And Sunday also, some Sundays are not good, okay? And then you forget the days of the week. Then there are all these moon phases. So if you plant something in the waxing moon phase, then those plants will thrive and everything. And if you plant something in the waning moon phase, it will all droop and wilt and same thing like starting a business. And there is even a good day for buying gold. There is once a year you go and buy gold on this, what is that called? Uh, Akshaya Tritiya. It is coming, probably on the 3rd of May or something, it will come. And so this Akshaya Tritiya, this just a day for going and buying gold. And as though if you buy gold on any other day, it will turn into coal or something like that. So all these things, you grow up along with this. And then, you would be very justified in asking me, why should I learn all this in order to just give it up? Because that's how it is. Well, this is how you do this. So you start kindergarten with A for apple, B for ball, C for cat, D for dog. And then do you need to remember that now? No, you have given it up. And then you started your life playing with balls or dolls or both. And then after a while you gave it up. At age 2, you had a security blanket and you would not be seen without the blanket. If the mother needed to wash it, she had to put you also in the wash along with it. Otherwise, she wouldn't be able to wash it. You were so attached to it. But now, now you are able to live without it. Everything is like that. It has fulfilled its purpose. When its purpose is fulfilled, you don't need it anymore. Just like what do they put on the teeth? Those braces. Braces you have to put so that you can live without it. And so any kind of corrective devices you have to put in childhood. And then after that, it has done its job. It has corrected the teeth. And then sometimes, the children are only seeing with one eye. And then they put a little pirate patch on the other eye. And so that because the one eye is, what is that called? Lazy eye. And to correct the lazy eye, you put a patch on the other eye. And then after that, you are ready to drop that. You let that go because it's no longer purposeful. It is filled. The purpose is done, finished, totally done. And so this is how one grows with every other thing. Why didn't you protest when your parents put you in kindergarten? Why did you not say, I'll have to give up A for apple, B for ball? Why are you making me study it? Nobody protests. This is how everything is. Once its function is over, it drops. So, similarly, here, the function of all these rules, what to do when, how to harness the how to be the master of time. This is what it is. The whole thing, the horary astrology and mundane astrology, both of them, they are all for mastering time and how to have time in the palm of your hands, how to use, because time is Bhagavan, how to use that time properly to your own benefit, how to harness the forces of the universe and use it to the best way possible. If you want, there comes a time in every person's life, especially helped by Vedanta, when one no longer cares about the outcome. You don't want to harness time. Why? Why do you want to harness time? No, so that the outcome is assured. Well, it doesn't matter because I don't really care. This is growth. This is self growth. And this is emotional maturity, where you get to the place of not really wanting to manipulate or harness the forces of nature and time, place, all these things. The secrets of time and place. Even place related, there are so many beliefs about all these things, that you must not do this in a certain place, otherwise bad things will happen. And in certain other and what to talk of directions, people go mad. Which direction should the should the which direction should the bedroom face, and then which direction should the house face, and how should how should you where should be the living area, where should be the dining area, and even inside that there are these small things about how to do this, etc., etc. And so, like this, in the beginning, all these rules are useful because the agenda to fulfill is so huge. Huge agenda. I want this. I want to be successful. I want this house to suit me. I want this time to be useful, etc., etc. That is why these upayas are given. And then these upayas means these, what is that? Pariharas. Now that didn't help, did it? Okay, so upaya, parihara, solutions. Okay, solutions. These solutions are given, and the solutions are given in such a way that that there is some sense of belonging to a certain time and place. There is there is a feeling of what is that called? There is a feeling of, oh, I feel secure. There is a feeling of security for the insecure person. Okay, here is some way I can make myself feel a little more secure and little better about this. But then this is not some kind of a lifelong thing. If one makes it a lifelong thing, then obviously there is no room for Vedanta, because the very thing that was helpful, the can become a noose around the neck. Absolutely. That is how it is. So braces are helpful, but after the teeth are corrected, if you continue to wear them, it will just ruin the teeth. You don't need them anymore. Aspirin is helpful, but if you keep taking it when you don't need to, it will have other effects. So like this, one grows out of this and becomes what is called Shubha Shubha Parityagi. That which I want is Brahman, and Brahman is Mangalam, Shubham. And therefore, the pursuit of Brahman is the most auspicious thing there is. And that Brahman is me. Lo and behold, that Brahman is me. So I am the most auspicious thing to know and to pursue. And so it doesn't matter who does what, when, and when, where, why. It doesn't matter at all. This is knowledge. And this is where one has to get to a place of emotional maturity and a certain kind of a freedom. In the beginning, the rules are there. And then when you Ishvarize the entire universe, then there is, everything is God. And every day is auspicious. Tuesday is auspicious, Saturday is auspicious, waning moon auspicious, waxing moon auspicious, full moon auspicious, new moon auspicious, eclipse auspicious, no eclipse auspicious. Everything is auspicious. And this is how to start leading the life in order to come out of this conundrum or this, what's its name, this kind of a difficulty between this being caught in this fate and free will business. This is the realm of what is called mithya, dependent reality. And we are up to here with dependent reality. Everything is dependent reality, dependent reality, dependent reality, dependent reality. Some more dependent reality, dependent reality, dependent reality, dependent reality. Everything is dependent. Whatever you see is dependent reality. And so, what do you want? I want to be free. Because whatever I lean on is leaning on something else. And sometimes is leaning back on me. Then it doesn't become dependent reality, it becomes codependent reality. This is the problem. This is the whole problem. And therefore, one needs a certain one needs a certain way of growing out of this in order to find a new vista point where one can get to this vision that Maharshi is talking about. And it is called, what is that called? It is called that it is falsifying everything that belongs to the realm of dependent reality. Anatma, Mithya. And how do I know what is dependent reality, Anatma, Mithya? I know this because whatever is I can objectify is belonging to the dependent reality. Oh, but that's a lot of things. It's not a lot of things, it's everything. It's everything that you see in the universe that you can objectify is part of the dependent reality, empirical reality. That's what it is. And then what are you? You belong to the reality that is called the absolute reality. You are absolute, and whatever you see, touch, hear, taste, and whichever smell you pick up is dependent reality. You are independent of all of them. This is where to go. And when you do that, then, where is the question of fate? No fate. Fate, you can make F silent. It is all eaten up. I ate the fate. This is what it is. And then where is free will? There is no free will either. There is no question of free will. No, but if I am independent, should I not be having free will? Free will means what? First of all, we have to understand the freedom to pursue something. And as we already saw, most of the pursuits are trapped in a conundrum of desires. Most of the pursuits are trapped. So where is the freedom? The freedom is not there. That's point number one. Point number two, about this free will, there is one more thing we should see. And what is that? That is that the free will in itself, its use is in order to get certain objects of desires. For the jnani means a person of self-knowledge. For the person of self-knowledge, what is there to gain? What is there to gain? Having gained that glorious I, which is limitless, which is free, which is the source of all happiness, gaining which there is nothing more to gain, why do I need the free will now? What will I do with it? Even if you were to give it to me, what will I do with it? It will gather dust on a shelf. Okay, the free will is gathering dust on a shelf, the concept of free will, because it is of no use. So if it is of no use, can we say it is not even there? Yes, it is not there for a jnani. Free will is not there for a person of knowledge. And I asked this of Pujya Swamiji, my teacher, once. I was there one time, and one child came to him and said, well, what did, she said, what are your favorite things to do, Swamiji? What are your absolute favorite things to do? And he said, whatever there is to do, I love. Whatever there is to do for the day, I absolutely love. He said it, answered it this way, which is a very nice answer. Then I asked him, well, what is it? Can you please elaborate on that? And he said, you see, if you start looking for things to do that you like, you will you will be a very sad person, because you can never lead the day by trying to keep on doing things as you like. So better to learn to love all the things that you need to do and you have to do. Learn to love them completely and fully. And then what? Then there was nothing more to say. This was just wonderful. That's why he said, I don't try to do as I like. I just have learned to love whatever there is to do. I have learned to love. Very, very wonderful. This is exactly what is the role of the free will for the jnani. Free will means what? Freedom to go somewhere. And the jnani will say, I don't particularly wish to go anywhere. I don't need to go anywhere. And then free will free will might be, okay, go have an experience. Don't want to have an experience, all the truth and the content of the experiencer and experience is me. I know that. So there is no need to go have an experience. Go to a restaurant and eat something. No need. Whatever comes, let me eat. And that is itself fine. And then go somewhere and, go meet a friend. What for? What for to meet a friend? No, maybe you would want to talk. There is nothing to talk about. No, but isn't the life of a jnani very boring? Not at all. From the standpoint of the ajnani, maybe the jnani leads an extremely boring life, but not from the standpoint of the jnani himself, herself. It is not boring at all. It's not boring because it is not a drab life. A drab life is from the standpoint of the everyday people, from the people in the everyday for who need to be entertained, 24/7, 365. Some kind of an entertainment is needed all the time. So from that standpoint, maybe the jnani's life is extremely boring. And but from the standpoint of the jnani himself, this is not the reality. The reality is a sense of fulfillment that is so pervasive and so deep that nothing other than oneself is needed for one's own entertainment. This is the jnani's life. And so therefore the question of getting bored doesn't arise. And so, therefore, there is no use of free will and there is no use of fate. If you go tell a Jnani, this is the very auspicious time is coming, and then what is the auspicious time? The some what is that? Some eclipse is coming, and it is very auspicious, or something will happen after the eclipse. Jnani will say, "Let it happen. It's okay. No, no, no. This is terrible. You have to do something. No need. No, but there is a difficulty for your life. Oh, life only, no? That's okay. It's just life. It's not a big deal. If I'm meant to go, I will go. That is what the Jnani will say. And so, therefore, so neither fate nor free will, which belong to this, the empirical reality, can touch the Jnani, and in fact, they are of no use. One grows out of one's horror scope. Yeah, scope of horrors at birth is called the scope of horrors unleashed by the planetary positions at birth is called horror scope. And so one grows out of it. One grows out of it. It just looks like, it just looks like gibberish. It just looks like, oh, okay, this was in this house. Oh, okay, fine, let it be. This was in that house, let it be. It's okay. And that is how to just greet the present. Because the free will, is about how to make the future happen. And the fate is all about the past. But here, for the Jnani, there is no fate, no free will, because the Jnani is firmly in the present. That is the present. This is how one has to grow. And then, of course, the question then arises, a very important question arises as a result of this verse. Fate means, in a way, isn't it another name for God? What about God? Where is Ishvara in all this? What about if I have an intense vision of God? Is that also mithya? Is that also belonging to the dependent reality? Because this is what is called darshan. Ishwarasya darshanam. Ishwarasya darshanam, we have to take it as karmani shashti. Karmani shashti means we have to take it as an object. The darshan for which Ishvara is an object. Darshan means the sight, for which Ishvara is the object of that sight. This is how we take it. Not Ishvara's sight, okay? That's not what we are talking about. So, what about that? What about if I have an intense vision of God? Are you going to falsify my vision also? Well, let us find out what is going to happen here. Where did the verses go? यदीशितुर्वीक्षणमीक्षितारम् अवीक्ष्य तन्मानसिके क्षणं स्यात् यदीशितुर्वीक्षिणमीक्षितारम् अवीक्ष्य तन्मानसिके क्षणं स्यात् न द्रष्टुरन्यः परमोहितस्य वीक्षा स्वमूले प्रविलीय निष्ठा न द्रष्टुरन्यः परमोहितस्य वीक्षा स्वमूले प्रविलीय निष्ठा. Yadi, if. Yadi means if. If what? Ikshituhu, Ishituhu, Ikshanam. Ishituhu means Ishvara. Ishituhu, Ikshanam. Ishituhu, Ikshanam Syat. Ikshanam, sight. Syat, takes place. If the sight of Ishvara takes place, when Ikshitaram avikshya, without at the same time seeing one's own self as Ishvara, then it can be best described as a mental projection. That is what? Manasika ikshanam syat. Ikshitaram avikshya yadi ishituh ikshanam tat manasika ikshanam syat. So if you say, I spy with my little eyes what? Ishvara. Then, and that Ishvara, the sight of that Ishvara is without you at all being present there as Ishvara. Then what happens? Then it is just your own mental projection. Pratibhasika satta here. Painful as it is, this is exactly what the Saddarshanam says. Now, what about all my intense experiences? I was shaking, something was happening, and then tears were flowing, and then I was on fire, and so many things happened, and some form of Bhagavan came and blessed and went. That which comes and goes is mithya. We have already established that. That which comes and goes is mithya. Then, then there is another thing. Kundalini. Okay, this is how they pronounce it in America. Kundalini. Just it rhymes with linguini. All right, that's why now I understand why we are in this Italian villa. So, this Kundalini rose. Okay, let it rise. Oh, it fell down. Let it fall. Why do you have to go up with everything that goes up and come down with everything that comes down? You stay where you are. Because if you have this experience, wonderful. Oh, but it was a wonderful experience. Okay, enjoy it. Oh, but it's gone. Okay, lament it. What else can I say? This is exactly why it is mithya. That which comes and goes, that which is, which is an experience. Experience means by nature it is finite. You had this wonderful time, then you went to lunch with Bhagavan, and then the lunch is of course over. That's all. It was a nice lunch. Oh, divine lunch, wonderful. Everything was prasad, 20-course meal, fantastic. But then it's over. Oh, Bhagavan, entered me. That happened a long time ago, okay? Not now. Bhagavan entered your body even before you were born. In fact, every name and form, everybody Bhagavan has already entered. Oh, okay, maybe he or she, doesn't matter. Maybe she entered a long time ago, but I just now found out. Okay, great, wonderful. Oh, but yeah, I'm having all kinds of experiences. Have them, it's okay. No, but I'm shaking back and forth. Shake, it's okay. Keep shaking, keep moving. Nice. But also, as you shake and move, remember that whatever shakes and moves is mithya, dependent reality. It is not what Vedanta calls Ishvara, Bhagavan, God. It is what Vedanta may call odd. That's all. The experience is not odd. It's odd that you think it is God. That is what is odd. Okay. So, this is what he is saying. If you leave yourself out, what is Bhagavan? Limitless. And if you say, oh, I had a wonderful vision of limitlessness. And what were you? Where were you? I was sitting in the best seat and enjoying popcorn while having the vision of limitlessness. That is all a big lie. Because limitlessness cannot be limitless without your presence. Without you, anything that is there is limited, finite. Limitlessness means it should include you. Now, first condition, it cannot be outside of you. Otherwise, if you are limiting it, it is limiting you. Neither there are two limiteds, not limitlessness. The second condition of what you call limitless is, is that it should be uncreated. If it is uncreated, it cannot be a sudden experience which has a beginning, which has a peak, a middle, and then an end. Oh, it's gone. Oh, now it is back. Oh, it's gone. Then what's the difference between Bhagavan experience and all other experiences? Same thing. Any other pleasurable experience you have, like, what is that? In the amusement park, you go up in something. What is that called? Some coaster, rolling coaster? Roller coaster, yeah. So in this rolling coaster you go, and then you climb, and then it just in a dizzying spell, it gives you a big thrill as it is going up and down. And then what? Over. If you make it safely out of the out of that cart, then okay, it's over. So then what's the difference between the roller coaster experience and experiencing Bhagavan? What is the difference? Same thing, same thrill for the same amount of time. And so this is a very important verse because it talks about Ishvara Darshanam. What is this Ishvara Darshanam? It is just beautiful, very, very beautiful and very important to understand because it is an important verse because it condenses all the Upanishadic teachings. Now. Wait a minute. You are just making jokes and bamboozling all of us. Why the Bhagavad Gita talks about Avatara, Lord Krishna coming. Yada yada ki dharmasya glanir bharata abhyutthanam dharmasya tadatmanam srijamyaham. I will keep on making myself take birth through a magical process. And in order to protect those who are following dharma and those who have been sadhu like, to protect them, vinashaya cha dushkritam, and to give just deserts to those who have been disrupting the ethical values of the society. And then, we see so many avatars. The Buddha was an avatara. Then Rama was an avatara. Before that, before Krishna, Rama was an avatara. And before Rama, Krishna, Parashurama, and then so many others. Fish was an avatara. And turtle, they saved everything from the universe from a certain kind of a deluge. They were all avatars of Vishnu. So how can you say even the Upanishad has avatara? It ratifies the presence of Bhagavan taking birth and Bhagavan being an experience. So how can you deny that Bhagavan cannot do this, and the whatever you see, whatever you can objectify is not Bhagavan? So then should we cancel the 11th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, where there is Vishwarupa Darshana? And should we cancel the entire Kenopanishad, where the Yaksha comes? This Indra, and then who else? Agni. And then what was the third fellow? Vayu. So Lord Fire and Mr. Lord Vayu, and then Indra, the king of heaven. All of them had defeated some terrible fellows, and they were having a party. Glasses were clinking, toasts were being made, and then in the process they forgot that it was because of Bhagavan's grace that they could win the war. They did not think it is because of Brahman that they won the war. Brahman here is Jagat Karanam Brahman. So, in order to test them, there came some kind of a yaksha, a celestial being, gate crashed the invitees only party. No other people, just a select few were invited. And then somehow this yaksha, brilliant to look at. And then this, Koyam, who is this? Who is this? And Indra being the king of heaven, they had a kind of a disruption in the party. Somebody gate crashed this party. They were all having a wonderful time, drinking and eating and thinking about the war. Asmakameva mahima, asmakameva vijayah iti. This is our victory. This is our glory. And then Indra said, Lord Agni said, Agni, fire said, I just went foo, and that fellow just got singed and ran away. Did you see that? And Vayu said that was nothing. When I went foo, that fellow went in a tornado shape and then came down. And that was something to watch. Indra said, I didn't have to say either boo or foo. I just looked at the fellow and he ran away. And like this, they were talking and having a good time. And this Yaksha shimmers into the room. They can't take their eyes off him because it is Bhagavan. It is Bhagavan in the flesh, and they are just so eager to they want to go and scold him. How dare you come to this invitees only party? What are you doing? Who let you inside? But they could not bring themselves to do that, yet they were very attracted to him. And Indra said, Agni, go find out who he is. Agni went, and it's like and when Agni went to the Yaksha, it's like the how you can expect an Indian phone call to go. What do you mean by how does the Indian phone call goes? Listen. So you call up somebody, and then instead of saying I am so and so, and I would like to speak with so and so, you say, who is speaking? You are the one calling them up. this is this is completely against the etiquette, phone etiquette in Western culture. But this is what we are used to. You call somebody, and instead of saying who you are and who you want, who is speaking? Hello, who is speaking? Who are you? And so this is exactly what the Yaksha did. Yaksha is a gate crasher. And Yaksha should say, hello, I am so and so, and I heard about your wonderful victory in the battle, and so I thought I would stop by. I hope you don't mind. Instead, Yaksha asks Agni, who is so famous, who are you? Kastvam. And then it's like a slap on the face. It's like it's like somebody asking Elon Musk, who are you? Nowadays he's in the news, so that's why his name came. So who are you? It's a big slap on the face. What do you mean, who am I? You don't know who I am. I'm Agni. Without me, life doesn't start. In fact, when the doctor delivers the baby, they first touch it to make sure it is alive, it is warm. That touch, that 98.6, whatever that normal temperature is, that's me. That's why I'm called Jata Veda. Jate, Jate, Vidyate. As soon as one is born, I am known. I am Jata Veda. What do you mean who I am? And without me, no, the food is not cooked. I am the sun that cooks the food, and the once in the form of chlorophyll, everything. And then I am the fire that cooks the food second time. And then I am the stomach fire in the form of Vaishvanara that cooks the food and digests it the third time. So even those people who think they eat raw food are at least eating twice cooked food. you know, once cooked by sun, and then once cooked in the stomach. So this is who I am. Yaksha says, interesting. What are you famous for? Arre, have you been listening? Or are you addled? I already told you what I do, what I am. No, but what can you do? All right. If now with this, by this time Agni was really annoyed. Agni was so annoyed. Agni said, all right, whatever you see here in this whole world, I can burn it to ashes. And then somehow Yaksha takes a miserable dry blade of grass. You can burn this? This is the third slap on Agni's face. Yet he's not able to walk away because there is a magnetic attraction. He's not able to walk away. And he says, of course I can burn this. I have burnt, I just came from California where I had a whole forest for breakfast. What are you talking about? This is nothing. Okay, burn it. Here, he keeps it in the middle. Agni says, yeah, this is to chota kaam hai. This is a small job. This is nothing. Like a half-hearted one little flame. And that nothing happens. Then he says, okay, maybe this yaksha is very tricky fellow. Maybe there is some magic trick here. So, what shall we do now? Let us try something harder. And let us call all the 7 tongues of fire. Kali, Karali, Manojava, Sulochana, Sudhumravarna, Visphulingini, Vishwaruchi, Devi, all of them are called. And he says, I don't care what else burns. Let me try to show off to this fellow because now my reputation is at stake. My reputation rests on this miserable blade of grass. My entire reputation is on this miserable blade of grass. Let me show this fellow. And all the 7 tongues of fire could not destroy it. Then he says, maybe I should microwave it. That is how the microwave was first discovered, I think. So maybe I should sit on it and microwave it. It doesn't even change color. And then he just slinks off from there and then goes back to Indra and says, I don't know who he is. I really don't know who he is. Vayu, oh wind, you go and see who he is. And you know what? The same exact things are happening. Who is speaking? Who are you? Who are you? And what is your claim to fame? And what do you do? What is it that you do so nicely? Tell me something that you do. Well, I can blow anything out. I can huff and puff and blow everything down. And then the same blade of grass makes an appearance. Can you blow this? What are you talking about? I'm coming from Oklahoma. I'm a tornado. And here you are asking me to just blow away this miserable blade of grass. And then it doesn't even move a micromillimeter. It doesn't even move. No microscopic amount. And he also comes away. He says, better to leave, better not to get more embroiled in this. And of course, Agni and Vayu exchange knowing looks. Yeah, yeah. Did the same thing happen to you? Yeah, yeah, me also. And then Indra says, I'll go find out, forget you, both are useless. At least the yaksha was available for objectification by Agni and Vayu. But when Indra went, the yaksha disappeared. Yaksha disappears. No more yaksha. And he says, okay, there must be something I'm missing here. And he sits there and meditates. And then in the same place where the yaksha was there, a, a beautiful goddess appears. Goddess Uma, Haimavati Uma is her name. And she says, I will teach. I will teach you what you missed. And what you missed was Bhagavan. That Bhagavan, that Brahman you missed. And you missed in acknowledging that even in your, what is that, warfare. And he came here to drop by and tell you he's very much around and he is the cause of the universe. And so this is what you missed. And she gives him Brahma Vidya. She gives him Brahma Vidya. So yes, see the appearance of this yaksha coincided with the transactability coincided with what's his name, Agni and Vayu, not being as self-reflective as Indra himself. Indra means the master of the sense organs, Indriyanam Raja. And so here were Agni and Vayu full of themselves. And then, they went to show off. They got caught in this ego fight. and a kind of a pressure to prove themselves. And they could not tell who he was, who he is. And then Indra, being a little more meditative, little more thoughtful, little more introspective, was able to understand this. That is why, as soon as he reached, Bhagavan was not there. Bhagavan gone. Why? Because there is no Bhagavan other than oneself. That is what is the teaching here. And that's why the same Kenopanishad, which talks about this story, and then which talks about how Indra, Agni, and Vayu, who got this knowledge, Indra got this knowledge from the goddess, the teacher of Brahma Vidya, and then Indra gave it to Agni and Vayu, and they truly became great. They did not, they were not just pretending to be great. They truly, truly became great. And then what happened after they became great? They taught all of us. This is how that Upanishad goes. And even though the Upanishad, the Keno Upanishad has this avatara, it is the first, has the emergence of Bhagavan, Ishvara, in a form other than oneself. It is the first one to say in a refrain 25 times, Tadeva Brahmatvam Vidhi, Nedam Yadidam Upasate. Know this alone to be Brahman, not that which the people worship, not that which is an object of worship. An object of worship is necessarily outside of you. And so he goes down the list of all the sense organs at first. Yat chakshusha na pashyati, yena chakshumshi pashyati, tadeva brahmatvam vidhi, nedam yadidam upasate. Yadvacha anabhyuditam, yena bhag abhyudyate, tadeva brahmatvam vidhi, nedam yadidam upasate. Yanmanasana manute, yenahurmanomatam, tadeva brahmatvam vidhi, nedam yadidam upasate. Like this, it goes on and on with the same refrain. Yat chakshushana pashyati, that which is not a sight for the eyes, not an object of sight for the eyes. But then, yena chakshumshi pashyati, because of whose presence the eyes can be objectified. That is why you say, I need to go to the doctor, I don't see very well. I need new glasses, I need to go to the doctor, I don't see very well. That because of which you can objectify the eyes, know that to be Brahman, that is Ishvara, not that which you worship outside of yourself. Yat vacha anabhyutitam, that which cannot be grasped or described by words. Yena vag abhyudyate, because of which the power of speech is, because of which we can communicate, because of which we can talk. Tadeva brahmatvam vidhi, nedam yadidam upasate. Not know this alone to be Brahman, not that which everybody worships. And then what else? And then yat manasana manute, that which is not an object of the mind, that which cannot be objectified by the mind. Yen ahur manomatam, that because of whose presence and whose shining presence, self-shining, self-evident presence, I can say, yes, I know the mind. The mind has become an object because of which self-evident I. Tadeva brahmatvam vidhi. Please, you know that alone to be Ishvara, to be Brahman, to be Bhagavan, not that which people worship. Not at all that which people worship. And so, like this, that same Upanishad, I find it is very interesting that the same Upanishad that talks about Brahman assuming a certain form is also talking about not to take that as a, to take that as a lesson, to not worship that or look for something outside of oneself. Looking for something outside of oneself is part of a rampant theology of duality that we find all around, and which really is attractive because it validates the one who is helpless, who is searching for somebody to save. The Vedantic tradition is not in the slightest bit salvific. We don't say you need a savior. We say you are already saved. There is nothing to save. So these theologies, the savior-based theologies, even in the Hindu tradition, we have. We have the duality, we have qualified dualism, we have dualism. They are all, to a certain extent, they are, they are a mind spring of a certain helplessness that one finds in oneself. And so the savior theology, for the proponents of the savior theology, Bhagavan will always be outside. And if Bhagavan is always outside, the sense of incompleteness will always be where? Inside. What to do about that? Well, we have class tomorrow, so let's see what will happen. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om.
Thank you, Amma.
Thank you.